Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 15th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Education for Arlington Heights School District 25. Thank you to all that are joining us tonight, both in person and virtually. Before we begin, I will share that our meetings are when the school board conducts its business and are open to the public. Because we are an elected governmental body, we can only take action by majority vote in a public meeting like this one. And we welcome the public to listen and observe, and we have community input sections on the agenda if you have questions or comments on the business of the board. With that, I call the regular meeting to order. And Dr. K, if you could please call the roll.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
All right. Thank you, Dr. K. And please stand if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, here we are in midsummer, so no recognitions or presentations to start with, so we're going to go right to board communications. This is where I'll look around the table and any updates from my colleagues for this month.
Mr. President, I had the honor with many of my other board members as well to attend the City of Support graduation a few weeks ago, and it was such an amazing event. Really has been like a highlight of my year. I want to thank City of Support, which is a wonderful local nonprofit that supports any families that have students who receive any kind of therapeutic services. And the whole purpose of this event was to celebrate any milestones that any of the students achieved, which is amazing, especially when you're going through therapeutic services and you have goals. It's always about what are we not doing, and this was a moment for them to really shine and celebrate things that they're achieving, and it was just all smiles and all celebrations. The kids came up on the stage. Some of our board members got to stand on the stage and high-five them and especially congratulate the parents who have worked so hard to support their kids. Dr. K was there as well. The Prospect cheerleaders were there to cheer them on. It was such an amazing event, and there was just smiles and tears, and it was wonderful. And so I would like to thank Beth Dieter and all of the people of City of Support for having us, and personally thank them because my son also got to walk across the stage, which was so exciting for him. And it's just such a great way to encourage members of our community, to encourage those students, to encourage their families. And it's one reason why Arlington Heights is one of the best places to live, is because we have organizations like this that support all of our families. So that was awesome. Thank you, City of Support.
Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. Any other updates?
Mr. President.
Yes, Deb.
I have a couple of things. The first one that I found most enlightening and exciting on June 2nd, it was my very first attendance at EdRed. So I had an opportunity to attend with Dr. K, with Kevin, Anisha, Greg, and the education and the individuals that I met, it was just fabulous. So a couple of things that I'd love to share. We had a great learning experience with a speaker, Tim Elmore, and I went and bought his book. He talks about the 8 paradoxes of great leadership, and the really, really short summary of it being paradox number 1 being balance, confidence, and humanity. And number 2, leverage vision and the blind spots. 3 being embrace visibility and invisibility. Number 4 being we should be stubborn and open-minded. 5 being be deeply personal and collective. 6 being be a teacher and a learner, which we also tell our educators at all times. 7 being model high standards and gracious forgiveness. And lastly, be timely, but remember to be timeless. So I was very moved by his speech. I, like I said, went out and got the book and just recommend it to anyone. It affects leadership, everything from corporate education to parental even. I mean, it's a useful book for everybody. And then Hawthorne District 73 in Vernon Hills presented. One of the sessions I went to was something that hit strong with me. They talked about the fact that their school board formed this great partnership with the kind of the entire local community, and the fact that it maximized community resources through this intergovernmental collaboration, that it took quite a while, but they worked with the Park District and the village and all of the groups together, coming together and meeting once a quarter so that they're all working together for the betterment of the community. And I found that hugely useful as well. So it was very joyful. And then to second what Melissa shared, that City of Support graduation was a first for me and a first for the organization, and I was dumbstruck with how awesome and amazing it was and how many community members were there, and it made my weekend. It was absolutely fabulous. So once again, showing us that Arlington Heights is a great community to be in.
Thank you, Deb.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
I want to start off by giving kudos to our two new board members because they have jumped in like full force, and being at EdRed, being at the, at the City of Support, and reflecting on all the learning, because we know that makes, that's so great for our students. So really huge kudos to our board members. You're inspiring us to keep it going here. So thank you. And I wanted to share a little bit about, my colleagues shared about City of Support and EdRed, and that was great, so thank you for sharing that. I got to be at South Middle School when the library bus was there during Summer U, and it was really cool. I got to go talk to our friend Ron, who is the head librarian on the library bus. And at Summer U, all these little classes were going in to check out books, and it's such a great collaboration to see the collaboration between the library and our schools. And he said just that morning, 200 books were checked out. So that's really, really cool. On that note, the Arlington Heights Memorial Library Foundation, run by the founder and a phenomenal community leader, Lori Harp, under her kind of leadership, we as a community need a new library bus, and so they're fundraising for a new library bus. So they have when you go to the library website, you'll see a kind of a donation page. And so anybody who's interested, I know the library bus comes outside our park at our home, and we've always been going. So it's such a great thing to have a library bus in our community, because it truly, Arlington Heights has a long suburb, and our library is in the middle. So as far as making sure that books reach all parts of our town and all different communities, I get to see it when I go to Forest View Tennis Club and the Go-Bird community over there. So it's such a great resource. So we should remember that and talk about it at all your summer brunches and stuff to encourage folks to give to our library bus. And it's been really great watching all the good work that the foundation does. And I was honored to be invited to the foundation launched a scholarship committee 2 years ago. So this is their second year. And so it was great to be behind the scenes. I know our own school, the Arlington Heights Council PTA, has their scholarship and have a committee. And I got to be on the Library Foundation committee reading through the essays of these very deserving students. And so 4 students were awarded a scholarship from the trades, and they all, I got to learn so much about welding and plumbing and all these really important kind of career pathways. So it was an honor to collaborate with the good folks at the Arlington Heights Memorial Library.
Thank you, Anisha. All right, I think, yeah, please. Thank you, Liz.
Very quickly, in the
Yeah.
spirit of collaboration, we had a celebrity sighting at the Arlington Heights Senior Center. Dr. K partnered with District 214 in St. Viator at our Aloha to Wellness event, and it was really great to have our school represented in a different place with community members who don't get to come into our schools. So I'd like to thank you for taking your time. And Kasha, is it Kachuba? Because I'm sorry, Kasha. Kasha came along as well, but it was really wonderful for our community members to get to learn a little bit more about what we are about here at 25.
Good. Kasha was very happy to be there. Thank you, Liz. Any others, Kevin? No? All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for those updates.
Mr. President?
And,
I'm so
please,
sorry.
go ahead, Deb.
One last thing I did not want to forget. It's just gratitude to Dr. K. He provided me with a tour of Summer University at South Middle School, and it was my first summer school tour. I had not previously ever worked in the summer school university, and watching the kids just thrive from itty-bitty kindergarten age all the way up to incoming 8th graders from multi-language, knitting, math, ELA. They were all having a blast. Gym, whatever they chose to do. So thank you for taking the time to provide me with that tour.
Thank you, Deb. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're ready to move to Kevin, the legislative report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will begin with Ed-Red specific topics. So Deb already shared a little bit about the Ed-Red and Lake ROE mini summit, which took place on June 12th. And thank you, Deb, and all my fellow board members and Dr. K who attended the event. In addition to the keynote by Tim Elmore that Deb shared about, I attended sessions, two other sessions, one that was about board member and administrator advocacy with local legislators in any topics or bills that are relevant to public education and that will directly affect our district, which was really helpful and interesting. And then I also attended a session on public education related bills, both bills that have been passed within the state and also at a federal level that could impact public education. And then staying on the topic of Ed-Red for a moment, and I did email all the members of the board about this as well, but on August 1st, I will be attending the Ed-Red legislative breakfast, and they have shared out a Google form for members of Ed-Red to submit either questions or suggestions for topics of discussion at that event. So if you have any questions, and if you're not able to attend the event in person, or any topics of discussion that you would like to be brought up, please make sure that you fill out that form. Moving on to general legislative topics. There were a lot of recent Supreme Court decisions that involved education. The first I want to touch on briefly is the court did uphold the E-rate funding program. So a lot of school districts use that for free or reduced rate internet access for their schools and for their students. So there had been a challenge to that, but the court ruled that the FCC was properly using its authority to implement the E-rate law, so that was upheld. One that was recent that could have wide-ranging implications in a decision in a case known as Mahmoud versus Taylor. The court ruled that a school board's refusal to allow parents to opt their children out of classroom instruction that involved topics that they felt went against their religious beliefs was a violation of students' rights to exercise their religion under the First Amendment. There are certainly questions and concerns about how that might impact not only individual teachers in determining what content they can share with students without first contacting administrators, school boards, reaching out and letting parents know, because there's a concern that then every single thing that gets added to a curriculum or change in a curriculum for any subject level might be put under the same scrutiny. So there are predictions that it's going to have pretty broad implications in the future of public education and curriculum, but we're not sure yet what those will be, but I think it's an important one for us to be aware of. Another one is, so as I'm sure everybody on the board is aware, the budget reconciliation did pass and was signed into law on July 4th, and there were a lot of changes to funding that can and probably will impact District 25 and other public education institutions. One of them is the changes in access to Medicaid for students. So this won't go into effect until 2028, but the bill does cut states' abilities to tax Medicaid providers that fund programs. And basically the upshot is if some students may and likely will lose Medicaid coverage that currently have it, and in those cases schools will not receive reimbursement for services that normally would be covered by Medicaid. Another potential impact, let's see. Sorry, I thought I other thing highlighted in that one. I may come back to that one in just a moment. The other thing that I just wanted to mention is you may have also heard that there was a recent Supreme Court decision that allowed, that there had been a temporary stay on cuts to employees of the Department of Education by a federal court, and Supreme Court ruled that those cuts could move forward. So based on the impact of those cuts and how it might affect finances from the Department of Education going to the state of Illinois, this is just my own interpretation based on what I've heard from Ed Red in the past. There is a significant chance now that the Illinois General Assembly may return before the end of their normal summer recess to evaluate potential impacts and how they might need to revise state level funding if there's going to be a reduction in federal funding as a result. And I think that's everything I have, unless there are any questions or anything anyone else wants to add on the Ed Red or legislative topic.
Seeing none, thank you, Kevin. We appreciate the updates. And now we're going to go to the IASB and COSPA report. Anisha.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the COSPA Federal Advocacy Conference will be happening in DC in September. And so that'll be interesting to see what advocacy efforts come out of that. And then I got a reach out from a COSPA member who, because COSPA will be meeting with Congressman Representative Quigley's office to talk about this funding delay that Kevin touched on. So if any board members and if our superintendent has any thoughts about the delay of funds or any other topics of federal advocacy, please do let me know. I'll pass it on to her, and as I, on behalf of our board, advocate through COSPA for us in our community. If there's any topic that keep me abreast so that I can kind of bring those topics up because as they impact our students and our districts. And as far as the federal advocacy funds, that I think Kevin was touching on too, is that it represents more than $218 million for public education in Illinois, and so COSPA is working to share our concerns, their concerns with legislators. So any other topics? And ISB conference in November, I'm sure if you're able to attend, you've already let Lana know, and if you haven't, we would love for everybody on our board to be there because as we believe a board that learns together leads together, so I'm really excited for us to learn and be at the thing together. So I'm sure you've all let Lana know because she's so much more effective than I am. She's probably emailed each one of you already. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Anisha. All right, and now it's we're going to hear about NSSEO. Liz, please.
Thank you. So Brian has shared the NSSEO Articles of Agreement with all of us multiple times. Brian, Diane, Stacy, and I met together to talk through the entire document and came up with a list of, of our edits, comments, and questions that I will bring to that committee of the whole meeting, which will be, I'm thinking, late August/September. NSSEO is taking July off, so I don't have anything further to report.
Thank you, Liz. Now is a time on our agenda where we set aside for community input. If a member of the public wishes to address any item on tonight's agenda, please complete one of the blue forms provided on the table and hand the card to Dr. K. Please note on your card if you wish to speak now at the first community input opportunity, or if you wish to speak later, should we have a second community input opportunity. We do have a blue slip, so I'll take this opportunity to share that the opportunity to speak to the board is provided for members of the public who have a comment to make about the business of the board. The board appreciates hearing from stakeholders and values your thoughts and questions. Public input can be helpful to the board as we strive to make the best decisions for our district. In order for the board to reserve sufficient time to conduct its business and operate its meetings in the spirit of civility and decorum, speakers are expected to adhere to the following guidelines. 1, address the board only at the time provided on the agenda and only after being recognized by the board president. 2, identify yourself and be brief. Comments must be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. The board may shorten this time in order to allow the maximum number of people the opportunity to speak. And 3, please be respectful and courteous. The board requests that you not make statements that are personally disrespectful or condescending to members of the board or staff. The board does typically does not respond to comments or attempt to answer questions during the public comment period, but we do listen intently and appreciate the input from our community. As always, if you've included your email in the comment form, someone will get back to you regarding any questions or concerns. And with that, I would like to welcome Melissa Kayer. If you could please step forward to the mic and welcome.
Hello, my name is Melissa Kerr. I was wondering, what is the status of the property tax bill? We should have gotten the second installment bill by now.
Well, thank you for the question, Melissa. We're not going to answer that at this time, but
Are you aware of it, though, at least? I hope.
I'm sorry,
You
we
don't
don't have
even
any
know.
information to share with you. Thank you. Okay, and now we're going to go on to our communications from district partners. Is it a quiet summer here in District 25? So tonight, we have just a PTA report, right, Dr. Kay?
That is correct. We have a new PTA, Arlington Heights Council of PTA President, Erin Lekomsky. I know she has children at Ivy Hill, so she wrote up a report and shared it with me, so I'd like to read this on behalf of Erin. The 2024-25 school year closed on a busy note for all 9 PTAs in the Arlington Heights Council of PTAs. Many local units ended the year with fun-filled field days and thank yous to their volunteers. Schools are busy transitioning to their newly elected board members and attending PTA training sessions for their new board positions. Committees at schools across the district are already working hard to plan back-to-school programming, including meet and greets, back-to-school bashes, outdoor movie nights, and fall fests. At the council level, we've had transition meetings and will have a completed budget soon for this coming school year. The Northwest Cook Regional PTA will host their annual kickoff meeting for the 25-26 school year on August 5th for all local PTA units. The first Arlington Heights Council PTA meeting is planned for August 18th. Meetings will be on Mondays, a combination of Zoom and in person, all starting at 7:30 p.m. The council thanks the district for taking the lead on student, staff, school photos for each school and handling one large contract for all of us. Schools have independently chosen dates for photos early on in the school year as required. Thank you. The PTA volunteers in our community are ready to lead and enrich the lives of all students, parents, and staff. Respectfully, Erin Lekomsky. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kay, and welcome to Erin. See her hopefully at a future meeting. And so we're going to go on to our consent agenda, and this is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve those items on the consent agenda as follows. A, personnel report and addendum to personnel report. B, treasurer's report. C, invoices. D, regular and closed session meeting minutes of June 10th, 2025.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please. Second. Thank you, Anisha. And Dr. Kay, if you could please call the vote.
Yes, Member Tranter?
Yes.
Member Jogi?
Yes.
Member Scapalato?
Yes.
Member Michael?
Yes.
Member Buchberger?
Yes.
Member Neerman?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Kay. The motion carries 6-0. And now we're going to move to our business and finance section of the agenda. And again, we have an action item for the crossing guard service bid. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education award the bid for crossing guard services for the 2025-2026 school year to Andy Frayne Services Incorporated.
Thank you, Kevin. And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Anisha. And Dr. Kay, I believe you're going to share the information
Yeah,
tonight.
on behalf of the staff, we are excited to recommend the Andy Frayne Services. As you might remember, we used Andy Frayne to help us at the corner of Thomas and Belmont and had a successful experience. So now we're looking to expand on that partnership. We did have 2 bids. Unfortunately, one of them didn't meet the standards for our insurance, so only Andy Frayne was able to meet all the requirements of the bid. And with our previous experience, we're satisfied and very happy with what they've been able to provide us. So we're excited to continue the partnership and expand upon it. So the staff, on behalf of District Office, we would like to recommend that we approve this agreement between us and Andy Frayne.
Thank you, Dr. Kay. Any questions from the board? Dr. K, I just have two quick questions.
Yeah.
In the description, there was a scenario, like it might be 2 or 4, depending. Is it likely that we would exceed the $115,000 reimbursement threshold from the?
No, we do not anticipate going beyond the 115,000 reimbursement threshold.
Okay. Even with anti-frame and regular?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And then the ones that are hired, do those go to those 5 priority or with placements?
They do.
Okay. They go with those first. Okay. Great. Thank you. Those were my questions. So unless there's any others, seeing none, Dr. K, if you can call the vote.
Member Jogi?
Yes.
Member Scapalato?
Yes.
Member Michael?
Yes.
Member Buchberger?
Yes.
Member Neerman?
Yes.
Member Tranter?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. K, and the motion carries 6-0. We're now going to the Personnel and Planning section of the agenda. And again, we have an action item. This is for the 2025-26 calendar revision. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the revisions to the 2025-2026 calendar as presented.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please.
I'll second, Mr. President.
Thank you, Anisha. And this was presented at the June board meeting, so welcome, Kendra. We're back again to vote on this. Do you have any additional information you want to share with us?
I do not have any additional information, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Kendra. Any questions regarding the calendar revision? Okay. Seeing none, Dr. K, if you could call the vote, please.
Member Scapalato?
Yes.
Member Michael?
Yes.
Member Buchberger?
Yes.
Member Neerman?
Yes.
Member Tranter?
Yes.
And Member Jogi?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. K, and the motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Kendra. All right, and we've arrived at the superintendent report. So the first is, of course, your update, Dr. K.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to highlight just a couple things. One has already been highlighted, the City of Support graduation, which I thought was just a phenomenal event and cannot wait to participate again in the future. And thank you to many of the board members that were able to join at that event as well. Also, Summer U and ESY wrapped up. So just a big thanks to all the families that signed their children up for both ESY and Summer U. A big thanks to the dedicated staff who volunteered to continue teaching into the summer. So without them, we'd have a big challenge continuing with Summer U and ESY. So just a big appreciation for not only the parents who registered their children, but the staff who made sure it continued to thrive. Also wanted to shout out to Lana. She had surgery, successful, in recovery, hoping to see her back in a couple weeks. Lana, I'm sure you're watching. We cannot wait for you to return. And I also wanted to highlight our business department. They received an award on behalf of the Association of School Business Officials International. This is actually the 23rd year in a row that Stacy and her department have received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting presented to Arlington Heights District 25 for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2024. This district report means that the criteria established for IASBO, International Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. So just congratulations to Stacy and her department, 23 years in a row of receiving this award. So I know she's not physically here, but I'm sure she is appreciative of all the work and hard dedication that goes into this. And thank you, board, for your oversight of this business department as well. So thank you. That is all I have for the updates, unless there's any questions. Excellent. The second topic is the Freedom of Information Act report. We had, since our last meeting, we had 2 FOIAs that were requested, and we responded to those according to the appropriate timelines as well. Letter C, regarding the IASB President recommendation for Dr. Jogi, is an action item for us this evening.
Yep. And so with that, can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education recommend Dr. Anisha I. Jogi to be considered by the IASB nominating committee for the position of IASB President.
Thank you, Kevin. And can I have a second?
Second.
Oh, I think Liz got it. Thank you, Liz. And well, I don't have any questions, but I did want to say, Dr. Jogi, that thank you for giving us the opportunity to review the materials, and I just want to commend you, the thoughtfulness and just the deep understanding of the needs of our state organization in your proposals about goals, and then just your tremendous dedication to the craft of school board service that came through, in all the materials. So thank you, and honored to vote in favor of this evening. So, any other?
Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate the trust my board friends have put in me in this district. I have gotten more out of this service than I have put in. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, with that, Dr. Kay, if you could please call the vote.
Member Buchberger.
Yes.
Member Neerman.
Yes.
Member Tranter.
100% yes.
Member Jogi.
Oh, yes.
Member Scapalato.
Yes.
And Member Michael.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Kay, and the motion carries 6-0. Congratulations, Dr. Jogi.
All right, thank you very much for that one. And then the next one is the first reading of policies for Press 118. All of the policies are included online for you to review. We also had our policy committee meet with all of the Press 118 updates. There were a total of 26 policies and 2 exhibits that were being reviewed. The press update memo for Press 118 described the reasons that many of these policies are being revised, many of them for a 5-year review, many of them for Title IX reversion to the 2020 regulations, and the Ensuring Success in Schools, or ESS law, that is effective as of July 1st, 2020. Artificial intelligence tools impacted some of the revisions, and lastly, an added definition of sexting in response to the use of technologies to produce harmful and sexually explicit deep fakes. So that was the reason all these 26 policies and 2 exhibits were being impacted and changed. The committee agreed to move the 2 exhibits and the 25 of the policies to first reading here tonight for the Board of Education to review this evening. The committee unanimously agreed to move 1 policy to first reading of the Board of Education and requested additional information for legal review based on the recommendation updates for policy 1:32, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we just wanted to make sure that the language we were changing in that policy didn't impact any current laws. And we were told by our attorney that we had no concerns with the language that we were revising. So at this time, all the policies and exhibits are being recommended by the policy committee for first reading as written. Are there any questions? All right, they will, in our tradition, they will come back then in August for a second reading. If you have any questions between now and then, we can bring them up at the next board meeting as well. Thank you. And last but not least for my superintendent report is the communications update. This is our presentation that will be delivered by Adam Harris, our communications and storytelling director. Thanks, Adam, for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You ready?
Ready to go.
Excellent, thank you.
Brad, is this too close? That's too close, okay. So thank you all for having me, I appreciate it. I haven't been able to sit in front of the board and kind of just update everyone on what we do down in communications, you know, or what a second grader might say, what does Picture Guide do, right? So this is what Picture Guide does. We are like happily and proudly in the family and community goal in our strategic plan. So I'm excited to see as we refresh it where we're going to land, but we do always go back to this plan every time we hit send, every time we hit post. So through this presentation, we're going to talk about our mission and our purpose, give you some context around what we do, our numbers and overview, and then also what sort of impact is our storytelling and communications having on the community, and then what we're doing in the future, what we're looking to in the next year or so. So we have a dual purpose mission, and every word matters, so I'm going to read it. Our communications and storytelling work in District 25 is driven by a dual purpose mission to provide strategic communication support across the district, and to share the vibrant stories of our schools, all to create a true sense of connection with and support from our community. Support for our staff, and then also messaging, branding, and storytelling. And getting into a little more details on that and what that feels like and the context of it, I look at our department very much as like a yes and support department for our staff. People, I like to kind of reference it like they have something that's very important to them. It's something they've been working on. It's their baby. They want to trust it with me and them together to share it with people, right? So very much people come in and we're able to find the tools necessary to get what is very important to them out to the community in the proper way. And we've built so many of those tools, right? So the strategic support is a role and responsibility of mine is supporting the staff and administrators with their communication needs, whether crafting clear, confident messaging, preparing for parent communications, navigating sensitive or high-stakes situations. The trusted partner, that's a big thing for me, to be responsive, collaborative, added value in service, providing communication tools, perspectives, and advice, along with carrying out the communication. That last part also is key, right? They're not coming in for advice, and then I'm like, hey, you go hit send. I'm in it with everybody. It's very much a part of what I want to do here, to make sure that they can then go do their jobs, create more things that we can then send out. And then the other purpose is the messaging, the branding, the storytelling. How do people feel when they experience us in the many ways we connect with them? Yes, online, in print, letterhead, when they walk into the building, what are they feeling, what are they experiencing? And this part, there's no agenda. I like to tease out what's already here. I like to make sure that we bring to light what deserves to shine that's already here. Because if you do that, it's inarguable, and it's amazingly effective. Our community is very smart. They know who we are. So we need to make sure that they get that experience with us when they connect with us. And that's a detail all the way down to where you see Together Today, Transform Tomorrow, our logo, right? They're not just pictures, they're not just logos. It's creating a sense of pride. So it's just very intentional how we're telling story and creating culture and fostering connection and really pride in the community, which creates trust. So let's go to the trust tree, you know? We got the mission at the bottom, right? Goes to oh, my fault, yes. I'm doing it here, not there, all right. Storytelling, communications, and guidance, right? And then from there, all of these tools that we've kind of built over the 10 years that I've been here, right? And these branches get stronger every single day that we feed them with content. The more we put out the Insight magazine every single summer, the more people expect it, the more people understand what it is, and the stronger that branch grows, right? People know where certain types of vibes they will get based on the type of content that they're consuming. Our website's very intentional the way it looks and feels. I think that if anybody out here has gone to a new restaurant lately and they just hit up Instagram or hit up Facebook or hit up just their website and they get an immediate judgment, will I enjoy this or not, right away? And it's just human nature. It's not our fault. It's the way we experience things. So that first impression is something that I take very seriously to make sure it embodies who we are right away. So we do that through all these different tools, even down to a letterhead, right? Where words are placed, it's how I want people to feel when they experience us. So let's go to some numbers, right? How big is this tree? This year, just this past year, this was actually an awesome exercise for me to do. Communication support department, right? Our department hit send or publish on 222 communications this year. So that's the dish, the buzz, the insight, parent academy, monthly staff updates, and then like incidents out at the building, right? Our principals are administrators. They need to be free to navigate these incidents that happen at our buildings, right? That is their job. being able to support them with communication needs, knowing that the communication can become drafted, they can then see it later, and then as they're navigating it, if they give me permission, I'm able to hit send on their behalf. That's very important to them, right? So that's one of those that we know just happens. So that's 222 that we've hit send on this year, so it's, well more than one every school day. And then collaborating with the principals, that's actually one of my favorite things, and over the past 10 years, it's grown to the point where they are on it, right? And when I first got here, it was just like, hey, how can I help you? I believe not in me as a communications czar saying this is how you should communicate. It's a communication is a very personal thing, but it's like, hey, what are you trying to get out of your communication? Who are you trying to reach? And with principals, they're communicating weekly, right? They need it to be engaging. They need it to be quick. They need it to be something they can build throughout the week. And they've all done it in very different ways. There used to be a lot of website communication where they would all have their own website. Now a lot of them are on the SMORE, so they can archive them. The Bingaman blog at Greenbrier, that's from our website, and it works for Principal Bingaman, and I think it's great. So they all do it the way that they want, and I'm here to help support them and get that communication out there. The thing that I'm really grateful for is that they want to communicate weekly with the community. It's a big, big, big plus for us. Our website had just under 400,000 visits this past year, so people are seeing who we are right away, whether they're going there for a school supply list or whether they're like, hey, I might move to Arlington Heights, what is this place about? So both those are being tackled with our website. Split this down the middle to see what we did with Instagram and Facebook separately. So about 125 Facebook posts, 125 Instagram posts this year, and about 175 days of Instagram or Facebook stories. So 354 total. Real time, the way people are getting their, it's not even really, it's news, yes, but it's more about, again, showing what's going on in the classroom, breaking down that barrier. That's been my mission since I got here 10 years ago. Open up the door to the classroom, to the community. So that's an easy way for people to kind of scroll through and access, like, what did school look like today, right? Maybe not in my kid's classroom, but if it gives a parent a snippet of information to enter conversation with their child at home, as opposed to, hey, what did you do at school today? Maybe I saw they were doing this at Patton. Are you guys doing something like that? Or I saw this at the, like that engages, I think, children a little differently. And this number was, I don't know, we'll give context to it in a little bit, but this number was kind of surprising to me. It was, 930,000 views over the year. This just comes from repetition and posting. The game of attrition. I'm a baseball fan. That's just what you do throughout the year. It's day in, day out, and yeah, it's good. 227 posts on YouTube and Twitter, and 120,000 views on that. So giving it some perspective, right? I think these are a couple surrounding districts, and this really depends on their following, and how often they're posting and what their value is internally. Like, do they want to be posting as often or as not often as we are, right? So I think we can look at these numbers and we can compare them. I don't judge, oh my goodness, thank you, Dr. K. I don't judge either of them as better or worse, so this is just what we're doing. This is what other districts are doing. I think that all of it's valid based on what our goals are, So, but as you can see, we're not all that off, and we're not all that ahead. It's just kind of based on who you ask. Thought it was interesting just to see. This is key too. Our principals are communicating. I just want to let you all know that these are the consistent communications, right? So amongst all that posting, all those communications, all those numbers, here's what we're doing consistently. Our principal newsletters are going out weekly at the elementary schools, every 2 weeks at the middle schools. A lot of them are using SMORE. As I mentioned, Principal Bingaman's using our website, all very effective, going through School Messenger. They send those. Our district dish, every 2 weeks on a Thursday. People, I believe, are becoming accustomed to that. We have people from the outside in the community emailing me to sign up. So if anybody out there would like to receive our district dish, please email me, aharris@sc25.org, and it's all archived on our website as well. After every board meeting, the board buzz comes out. I like doing this because it's such a quick reference for people through these meetings, right? We all do this monthly. You all are in it. Before I was here, I wouldn't know how to approach engaging at a board meeting. So whether these get 1 million views or 1,000 views, I think the ability to reference based on links directly to parts of the board meeting are, important. So those go out after the board meeting. Our Insight magazine once a year. This is our big one to touch base with everybody in the community, making sure that they know we're here and continue to please trust us with everything that you can trust us with. And so that goes out, and that'll be coming out. Look for it in the mailboxes in the next week or so. And then our staff newsletters. This is something that Dr. K initiated this past year, and is such a great idea. The goal being, let's try and consolidate how we're tapping staff throughout the month and throughout the year. I get overloaded in my personal email box with just getting hit by things. I mean, this is a great place for staff to go once a month. They know it's coming. Each department has a section. It's been a great collaboration between our cabinet team and our departments have one as well for their individual departments as well. So I think that's been awesome. So the impact of story, right? We can, quantifying with all the numbers I showed earlier, right? We compared it to districts. Sometimes I do like to just go on our page and just see this stuff. This stuff is really awesome. And these are just a couple posts, like our new Teacher Tuesday posts that are going up there. I mean, these are individual, non-prompted comments, hearts, likes, right? I really like the new teacher ones. If I'm a new staff member and I start here, and 2 months in, I have, 15 people that have commented how much they enjoy my classroom. I mean, one would make me happy, So I think the online community is very important, right? And it's full of life. I just hope people feel who we are through this stuff. And I think the impact can be seen and felt scrolling through our pages and things like that, right? It's just good vibes online, and people can know who we are. Also, I don't know, this is the best stuff. It just is, it's hard to ignore that this is just the best stuff. So this was interesting. Obviously I got to show a video. I could show 1 million. I'll show one. So this was our top performing video this year. 75,000 views on Facebook. It's a lot for us. We average, I would say, around 1,500, 1,800 views on our videos, every single video. This one got 75,000 on Facebook. I just looked it up on Instagram. It got 1,800. As much as this can be made into a science, I don't have an explanation for that. It's this one hit, and this video is awesome, and this kid is special. This child is awesome and special, and you'll see it. The secret, I think, is the consistency. That's the science behind it. Post and you post and you post, something's going to hit. This one hit. So, yeah, let's hit play on it now. Okay, so I have one more question for you. What did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I love my best friend and I would do anything for her.
I think that's a perfect thing to learn. Hey Arlingtonites, Adam Harris here, your head of communications and storytelling. I'm with Hope. Say hi.
Hi.
We're at West Great Elementary School. We have an awesome story for you. Hope saved her best friend's life. Wouldn't you say so?
I guess.
She saved her from choking, and she has a cool story about it. So why don't you tell us what happened?
So basically, I was at my brother's baseball game, and she came with her mom and her sister. And so there's a big hill in the back, so me and my best friend were like, well, can we go run? So, because my mom thought we were mature enough. And we brought some goldfish, because we like snacking. And
Like snacking, want to go for a little run down the hill? Yeah.
so we run up and down a hill, and then my best friend, she put some goldfish in her mouth, and I'm like, finish chewing before we run down. And so I thought she did, but she didn't. So we ran down, and when I got back up, I was like, did you finish chewing before we run down? She was like, she wasn't making noise, so I turned around, and she was like, so I got behind her and gave her the Heimlich, and she spat it out.
You knew the Heimlich? Okay, I have several questions. How did you know the Heimlich?
So I took a babysitting class over the summer, and they taught me, but I didn't actually do it on a real mannequin. I did it like this to myself,
But you knew what to do?
yeah.
Okay, in that moment, how did you not panic? Like, what did you feel in that moment?
Well, I was very scared because she's my best friend, but I knew what to do, so I got behind her and started going like,
And it worked. Okay. You're a hero. Oh my gosh. And you said you learned it from taking babysitting classes. Okay, I mean, I don't think I know how to do the Heimlich. I mean, I've seen it on TV, I've seen it on stuff, but like, oh my gosh. Okay, I need to learn. We all need to learn, right?
yeah.
Okay, can you give any advice to anybody out there that might be in like a scary situation where things are moving really, really fast, but you need to slow things down? Like, what advice would you give to people in a crazy situation like that?
Well, the reason I didn't panic is because I knew what to do, and I knew there were other people around me that could help and maybe knew it. I knew there were adults. And she was my best friend, so she helped me, like, even though she was scared, I, like, took a deep breath, and I went to give her the Heimlich.
I'm so impressed. Are you impressed with yourself? Yeah, you should be. Okay, so I have one more question for you. What did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I love my best friend, and I would do anything for her.
I think that's a perfect thing to learn. Okay, now we just say goodbye. Bye. Yeah, I mean, that kid's awesome. Slam dunk story, right? But there's so many of those everywhere, right? And our teachers trust me to walk into their classrooms and just find one, which is amazing of them, right? So that's trust as well, right? Because once it's out there, right? So I appreciate that from our teachers and our staff and our principals. So I think that, every kid has a story in every classroom. Okay, so what? What does all this create? What does it all contribute towards? Community support, community awareness, community pride, district pride, knowing who we are. Building a following to then disseminate information, I think, is really important, right? If you build it, they will come. And the more we push out there, the more we create, the more views we get, the more followers we have, then the more people we can get information out to as well, right? Teacher support, teacher retention, and trust via transparency and awareness. I think that that's a big one as well. I do like those videos, those out and about ones. We've mixed in a lot of reels lately, but I like those because they're not like really edited, and I think people can see that, and it just creates a different level of trust in us being authentic. We're not hiding anything. There's nothing to hide. Again, we're teasing out awesomeness. Positive feelings, community awareness, like where is our taxpayer money going? How is it impacting our students? How is it impacting our community? Like they get to see those things. Also, like in the video itself, The space around us matters, you know, like what does it feel like even just watching that video? Like all of those things are thought of to make sure that I'm showing off really who we are in these buildings. So someone's watching that video and they're like, oh, that says West Great behind them, things like that. Like, oh, that's a cool looking classroom. That looks like a safe space, things like that. So moving forward, this year the goal is by the end of break or in the middle of break, winter break, launching a new website, a new template. Last update was July in 2022. Our current template is being phased out right now, so this change creates an opportunity for us to just again look at our website, keep a familiar layout. I like our layout. I think people respond to it. They know where things are going. But also improve navigation a little bit, especially on the mobile use I've gotten some feedback on, so I think that that's really important. Making updates easier for schools as well. The back end is going to be easier for our schools and admin assistants and enhancing accessibility and mobile performance, like I said. Our strategic plan, you know, the refresh, I mean, that's also the goods, and I'm excited to see what the strategic plan committee and team comes up with, and then from there, make sure people are aware of it, just like we did with this last one. And then keep on finding ways to support our departments and buildings. As much as, yes, there are cycles of years of stories that come out. There's things and ways to communicate, but they're ever changing. And, you know, it was awesome when Dr. K came in last year, just little shifts kind of reinvigorate a communication, right? Little shifts in the way that the ideas he had, right? Going to his s'more and putting his picture on it, like little things like that, right? Like that just kind of reinvigorate who we are, and it definitely aligns with who we are. So just looking for those little opportunities to not just hit send on the same email over and over, right? Like just how are we continuing to grow in that way? So thank you for your time, and happy to answer any questions or just talk through anything. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being here. Any questions or comments from the board members? Please go ahead,
Mr. President. First of all, Adam, I want to say thank you for all that you do. The storytelling and the social media, I know firsthand, is truly appreciated by the students within our district, by the parents, by the teachers, the staff, the community. They enjoy it very much. And I know as a previous staff member, anytime that you were reached out to when there's a special event taking place or something that as an educator I felt was important to share with the public, you never hesitated to come in, which I greatly appreciate. And I know from speaking with others, the same is the issue. You know, someone has a celebration or a student celebration or a wonderful event happening at the school, they give a call and you are present and your storytelling is incredible. My one question is, now sitting on the board, I'm wondering if there's a way that you're able to track, I know how busy our administrators and our teachers are, if several schools are reaching out to you during a year, but maybe there's 2 or 3 that you haven't heard from. When spring hits, does your mind take you to them as far as, hey, what do you have going on and how can we share what's going on in your building? We haven't been here or visited.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to make sure we have equity across.
Absolutely. So my mind does that every morning, once a week when I'm going in on the train. I'll get off the train and I'll be like, where do I want to go today? You know, where haven't I been in a while? So 100% that happens. And if we were to look back at all the posts this year, I think like it's funny, it comes in flurries sometimes. It'll be like, wow, September was Dryden heavy or whatever. And obviously I'm not saying no to anything, but something that I've kind of made it my goal too since I started here was, yes, being reached out to is one thing, but my job is to find story too. Like, I want our teachers and principals to do that job as 100% of the time as they possibly can. So whenever I like, I don't know, speak at conferences or whatever, people are like, well, how do you find these? And it's just, I just go to the buildings. And it's been awesome to have an administration that has trusted me to be out and about, truly out and about, because that is the key to being able to make sure the equity occurs. 100% we're doing that, and those are thoughts going through my head. And then also that stories are being told not at the burden of teachers. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting in Greenbrier's front office, just working from there in the morning, and a teacher's walking by, getting ready for the day, and it's like, oh, I forgot to tell you there's this going on, right? And that happens every time I go into a building. So being around is so helpful. I'll just work in their front office. And yeah, it's awesome that my administration trusts me to do that. Yeah.
I also, Mr. President, just had a comment, wanted to say thank you. And I also just wanted to comment on how engaging you are when you interview the students, and just like the great rapport you have with them as well. I think that goes a long way, and they feel highlighted too and supported. And so I just wanted to highlight that. And thank you for this presentation.
There's still like a 10-year-old kid inside me, so it's definitely easy to access, but I appreciate you saying that.
Mr. President, thank you, Adam. I want to echo the appreciation from my fellow board members. I was going to say almost the exact same Melissa just said, so I won't repeat that. But I also wanted to bring up, you mentioned the board buzz earlier and how you think that's helpful to the community because they can find specific sections of meetings, which I agree with. And I actually find that helpful as a board member because there are often times where I want to go back and review a certain topic, and it's so much easier to just find the topic on the email and click on it than to have to like kind of scrub through the YouTube video and try to find the right section. So thank you as a board member for that as well, because it really does help. And then I just had one question, because I noticed you did mention looking toward the future in the strategic plan. And I know that Dr. K and all the members of the board are very interested in that continuing to be a very engaging process with the community. And I think Dr. K's done an excellent job with that so far. But I was just curious if you have any thoughts based on your participation in the previous strategic planning process and the communications for that, of things that you think either went really well that you would like to repeat this time around, or things that you think could make an even more engaging experience for the community.
All right, let's start with really well. I think that it being on our walls is important. Having a one-page reference that breaks it down is important. Being able to kind of look at it in a pyramid way where people can digest it as little or as much as they want to. I think it being part of our board presentations is important. I think a video that comes from our community, our students this past year, that was the one that they did, or not this past year, this past plan. I think having that, being able to live on our strategic plan website is important. And then as far as what can we do to improve the way we communicate our strategic plan, I think, I don't want to speak out of turn, Dr. K, but I think like we have talked about it as well. Like the website that showed how we were doing on our strategic plan, I think was very effective and impactful. And I think that we need to do that again this time, and we need to make sure that we can measure where we are at as we go through. I think that's one of the things that I would say I'd love to put together and be a part of. Yeah.
Anisha? No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Adam, thank you so much. For all this time that, past 8 years that I've been here, I don't know, how long have you been here now, Adam?
10 years.
Oh, wow, okay, so
Yeah.
you've been here the whole time. And I want folks who are watching to know, right, Adam is not, we have a celebrity, we have Dr. K as our celebrity, and we have Adam Harris as another celebrity, not only in our district boundaries, but every time we go to state conferences and we'll be like, oh, our communication, and they'll say, oh, Adam, your communication guy. People know Adam across the state, and now we're going to go to these national conferences, and they're going to know him. So Adam is very well known. So you are, because you're so good at what you do, and we're so thankful for everything that you do.
Thank
And
you.
in presenting to us today, you use the word trust a lot, and you use the word trusted partner a lot. And I hope that you're getting this. It's a two-way story, right? You really cultivate that trust when we as board members have worked with you as well, and knowing that you're putting out these really important stories. The board story is also a really important aspect that you put out to cultivate that trust with the community. And I'm hoping that you feel that from us too. We truly trust you as a board and the staff and the teachers, the students, like Melissa was saying. And in your presentation, you also talked about how you want, like, this is so important to you that folks trust the stories that you're sharing, and you're a trusted partner, and that they feel who we are. That's your words. I want to also share with you, I had gone to the Arlington Heights Park District Foundation ribbon cutting event for the new park that came up, and Chris Plasek, a Daily Herald reporter, was there, and I was meeting the Park District communications person, and I was like, oh, do you know our communication person, Adam? And of course, he knew him, but Chris Plasek shared a story that recently there was a Prospect High School student was featured in the Daily Herald as her own work as a student in investigative reporting, and that resulted in a truly impactful change for her school. And she told the Daily Herald reporter that, Chris Plasek, that she got her love for reporting from her collaboration and work with Adam Harris when she was a student in District 25. And him, when you see all these kids and you don't know what they're thinking and they're sharing all these great vulnerable stories, so this young woman is going to grow up to be on CNN or something because of our Adam Harris. So I think that is really cool what you're doing in teaching and mentoring, not just us, making us brave to tell our stories, because you've done podcasts with us and so forth, but for our students as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. That was Abby Gillahan. Yeah, she was awesome. She ran her own newspaper in Dryden. So yeah, thank you for saying that. That makes me really happy.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of Abby, right?
Yeah.
I have a little mini question before I go on with my other comments, is that how do you not cry when you tell these stories? Because I could absolutely not do your job, because I'd be like crying when I'm telling all these wonderful stories.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm 10 with them at that moment, Yeah. So, yeah,
It was rhetorical, Dora.
Yeah. They're cool. They're cool little people.
The numbers you shared today, Adam, and you're a small team. If you could remind us, how many team members in the communications department at Arlington Heights School District?
It was me from 2015 to 2021, and then we added a position in 2021.
So that's a team of two, coming up with these numbers of 400,000 visits, coming up with 930,000, views on some of, on the video that you featured. So really the impact, because it's all about communications, and in this day and age, it's all about effective communication. And for us as a public education entity, sometimes schools being a place of attack, you're getting in front of the story and telling the story of the important work that public schools is, in District 25 is doing. So truly, we're indebted to you for telling and sharing our story. And as you grow, I have an opportunity area for you, for your team of two,
yeah, please.
Which is really ambitious. You have so much work ahead of you, but you also talked about how one of the goals was teacher retention. And I think in this time of teacher shortage, we know that teacher shortage is a national and statewide issue. Yeah. And I was chatting with Dr. K, and I'll just bring it up here, teacher recruitment, there's a great opportunity in the stories that you tell. I'm sure that people are going to, as they're looking for positions, they're going to Instagram pages for different districts, and you're probably already hitting on that opportunity of recruiting staff, and LinkedIn is a great space for that as well, right? And where other districts are on that space as well. So I think what you're doing as far as retention and recruitment and thinking so far and beyond about this, truly, Adam, thank you so much for everything you do.
Yeah, and what I heard you say is, let's look at LinkedIn a little bit too. as an opportunity.
When you get the chance.
Yeah, no,
with
I
your
got
team
you.
of
Yeah,
two.
no, I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Anisha. So Adam, I have a few comments myself, and it's really your slide about how there's a methodical or systematic way emails come out from the district to the community. That consistency and clarity, it makes things predictable and in a good way, in a comforting way, and also in a way that's manageable as a parent. I can, say that I know when to expect, oh, here's my principal's email, and then I'm going to hear about the board, and then, the district-wide. So, and I think it goes back to what you were talking about. At risk of amplifying your whole presentation is, that trust for our parents and our community, and you're helping us build that community. But I think about the communication that both you author and that you help others author. It goes beyond just being informative. There's real character and authenticity and heart. And it doesn't, and again, it just, whoever it's coming from, whether it's coming from Ellie as the patent principal, or you in the Out and About, or Dr. K, I think it speaks so much about the work you do that you help us be transparent with our community, but that yet you are transparent in that work. So even in the Out and About, you're the interviewer, but I remember the kid. And and I mean that as the biggest compliment.
Yep.
I remember the story.
Yep.
And I'll confess that when I was pretty early in my experience as a parent in the district when I joined the board, and I don't know that I really understood the storytelling part of your title. I think now I do, and I think we all do. I mean, look at how many comments you have up here. We want to be part of it,
Thank you.
So, and the communication you help us either craft or you send out is so visually engaging. It's not just informative. It holds us and grabs us.
Thank you.
So I have two small questions for you. And with the Insight newsletter, that's a really important one in terms of reaching out to the community. There's just a lot of our community, they're not going to be online with us, right? Has you had, I don't know the history of it. We know it's one time a year. Has it ever been more than that a year, more times a year? In terms of how?
Yeah, it hasn't. And I think this is our 8th year, I think. I think we first started, we sent one out in like the fall of 2017, and then it started becoming a summer thing after that. And it hasn't been more than one. And yeah, I mean, I'm open to whatever. I think that, I don't know if there's thoughts behind the question of maybe because I think it's interesting, right? I think you're right. It's a how do we hit those people up? How do we make sure we have a touch point with those people? That, because sometimes I'll walk by the Insight magazine as it's sitting out here, and it's January, and that's a way to show our district off. And it's timely. I try and make sure the material's timely, but not it's still a little evergreen. So I do try and make sure it can last and still just show a snapshot at the most basic point of it, that it just at least shows who we are. It's interesting, the thought of a couple times a year.
Yeah, just to sparking the thought.
Thank you.
We have probably the majority of our community don't have students here. So that's one important way, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
That was in my initial interview question when I first interviewed. It was how do we reach the 80%? So it's interesting.
The other question is, you talked about the website revamp, and you talked about feedback. So I was wondering if there's a little more you could reveal or future thoughts on how do you get input from those of us using the website? And I'm thinking of our families in particular, but all of us engage with it. So how do you, as you look at that revamp, how do you gather that kind of input?
That input has been gathered by user and Out and About and talking with people. It's been watching them experience it. The mobile feedback I'm getting, I've been getting that for a little bit now, a year or so, where when people land on a certain page to scroll to the information, they hit and it sends them to another page. Yeah. So when I launched this thing, I mean, like, I realized, like, even when I design T-shirts, right, I'm the person that is going to get feedback based on how they are. So I want feedback. So I've been gathering it in just this way, you know, and using it, experiencing other websites, but that's how I'm gathering it at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we have a lot of people interested and engaged with the website, so yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again. Any other comments from the board? Yeah, please. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to jump in one more time. Kevin, you had asked a great question about the strategic plan, and you were instrumental not only during the strategic planning process, but even as we were doing our superintendent search and communicating with the whole community about the process and so forth. And of course, with the strategic plan, we want to make it come alive, right? And you're a big part of that, so much so that, you know, we've been asked to present on the strategic plan 4 times statewide and nationally, and it makes our job really easy in presenting because you have these handy-dandy graphics that you've put together. And how was District 25 able to make sure we're living that strategic plan? Is that communication piece of it, right? Everybody knows, you know, even you make it so easy as far as together today, transform tomorrow, right? All the slogans that go with it, the values that go with it. So that's the graphics that you've created really have helped as well. And that's been recognized outside our district too, so thank you.
Awesome, yeah. I mean, it is personal here, and that's just where it all comes from. The strategic plan communication, it's built, right? I work with what is built. So again, just making sure that we tease out what was just built. I don't want to change it or impact it as we communicate it. So yeah, I'm excited to do that again.
The dashboard.
Yes, please, Liz.
Just generally, I'd like to thank you for breaking down the barriers to our classrooms and inviting our community in. I think that you've done a great job of that. Excuse me, as I scroll through the comments, I see, excuse me, a lot of former parents that are still following and catching up, a lot of neighborhood kids. You have opened our doors in a way that we can't, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you. That was what I wanted to do when I got here. So thank you.
Well, thank you again, Adam, and I'm glad our schedule allowed us to really engage with what you presented tonight.
Yeah, I
So-
really appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for all the feedback. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Adam. We've arrived at the second community input section of our agenda. If anyone wishes to address an item on the agenda, we ask you please complete a blue form, and I don't believe we have any at this time. Okay. So then we'll continue on. We have our future agenda item section of the meeting. And this is where I'll ask my colleagues if there's any new topics that have maybe been previously discussed that the board should consider. Okay. And seeing none, then the board needs to return to closed session to continue working on the same topics announced earlier for closed session. The board cannot take any action during the closed session meeting, and we will not take any action when we return to open session afterwards. So with that, can I have a motion, please, to adjourn and return to closed session?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that we adjourn and move back into closed session to continue discussion on the aforementioned topics.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please.
A second.
Thank you, Anisha. And Dr. K, if you please call the roll.
All right, going with Member Neerman,
Yeah, yes.
Member Tranter,
Yes.
Member Jogi,
Yes.
Member Scapalato,
Yes.
Member Michael,
Yes.
and Member Buchberger.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. K, and the motion carries 6-0. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you in August.